Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. All right, folks. You know I'm going to say it, right? Another beautiful day. There's the sun blazing. All right. Thank you all. Truly, I love you all. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Thank you for helping to build the worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Man, we've come a long way indeed. All right, so listen, please help me to continue to build the movement. Please make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Anytime you come to the YouTube channel, please make sure that you go to my community section for some very important and unique information there. Please make sure that you uh, listen to all my music, right, on all the popular platforms, all the streaming platforms. Please make sure that you go to my rumble.com channel. Very important. You help me to build that up, please. Please, vital that I build that channel up. When you go to rumble.com, you can just search Big King Sadiq or BKS Light, right? Either way, I'll come up. Um, please, folks, please go and get the books. I have two books currently available on Amazon. First title is Peace, Love, Respect. This is the new wave. And the second title is Ascension Path, Best Self, Best Life. Um, the first title is actually also now recently converted into an audiobook as well. And that is currently also available on audible.com. All right, so listen, I wanted to talk about something very important and very relevant to paradigm shift, right? Folks, I told you big changes in 2024 and moving forward. So, in order for us to go into divine compassionate action and bring about true change, right? We have to first visualize and embrace the concept of what it is we want to change, right? Um, One of the things that we most certainly need to be aware of and change is the actions of government agencies in our name around the globe, right? Um, Folks, the Alphabet Gang, the FBI, the CIA, NDA, CDC, so many different agencies that operate globally in the name of the United States citizens, right? And we may have a glorified, sort of romanticized picture of these agencies and what their agents do, right? Particularly if you think about it, each of those agencies has their own like TV show. I mean, of course, we have a very romanticized uh, uh, image of what these agencies are and what they do, right? Um, we all love the good spy movie. But in reality, folks, we need to think about what it is exactly that a spy does in another country and isn't as simplistic as labeling it as spies, right? Folks, we're talking about operations that often topple governments, right? That make sure that the United States actually has the power to remove a certain leader in a certain country whom they may not agree with, or he may not, or he or she may not 100% line up with their agenda. So they go and sponsor a coup, right? Or furnish the weapons for a coup, or furnish operatives who go and organize and execute the removal of that leader from office and the insertion of a leader whom they've essentially handpicked. Now, this might sound good for the interest of the United States, but what it does and what it is globally and what it is in the eyes of others around the world is the United States asserting its authority as a global bully, right? Not this global champion of democracy, but going actually into the borders of other countries and executing operations that would dictate what the laws and policies and the system of rule in that country would be. Well, I thought that that was left up to the citizens of that country. Isn't their government supposed to represent their best interest? Don't we expect that our government would represent our best interest? And how would we feel if another country, some foreign entity, sent operatives into our country to make sure that our leaders were individuals put in place to follow their agenda? That wouldn't be all right, right? These are just some small examples, not to mention some of the darker, more nefarious things when we just talk about outright murders, right? When we talk about where we go into countries and actually set up industries that may even produce hazardous waste that causes the lives to be taken, to be lost of people perhaps nearby that industry who never wanted us there in the first place, who may have protested us being there, but were forced out of the way. Folks, what about all of the diamonds that are brought in through famous families like De Beers, right? What about the way our government creates climates in these foreign countries for corporations to come in and operate in such a way? If you don't know, there is literal slavery going on for precious metals and jewels to be mined in many countries around the world, where people are literally forced into mining and doing this work. Not just that they're living in bad conditions or being paid menial labor. No, they're forced into doing this slavery. Incredibly harsh conditions often, and often we're talking about minors doing this, children put into slavery to feed industries of luxury for us over here. And we send in the alphabet gang to create an atmosphere that these corporations can set up and operate in such a way. Are you all right with that? Are you all right with our government sending operatives into these countries to execute missions like this and others that are probably other clandestine missions that are probably so nefarious that we couldn't even imagine, yet we'll never have any idea of because it's top secret? How many things are done even here in our country by these agencies and government operatives, right? This is not a fanciful question to ask when you consider that the CIA has already reluctantly admitted and documents have been declassified about operations where they have brought literal boatloads of drugs into black communities, financing their clandestine efforts and their black ops, while at the same time purposefully destroying our communities. That's not paranoia. That's not a conspiracy theory. Folks, look into these things. What I'm This not a question is whether or not these things are happening. What I'm asking you is the average American citizen, are you all right with this? Are you all right with it continuing in your name, funded by your tax dollars? Folks, there are far worse things that I could even sit here and describe that go on in your name, funded by your tax dollars, executed by agencies of your government. Are you all right with that? Or will this as well be one of the things that we deem necessary to change? That we make sure changes? Do you understand that what's going on right now in the Gaza Strip between the Israelis and Palestinians has got the attention of the entire globe? And that many countries, most countries other than the US, have denounced what the Israelis are doing and calling it outright genocide. But we just keep pumping money over there. We keep sending weapons and whatever other form of aid over there. And again, what the innocent Israelis go through in terms of terrorism is horrible and should not happen, right? There is no justification for terrorism, but there is certainly, in turn, no justification at all for genocide. And when you look at what's happening in the death toll in that region and the way the defense policies are being implemented by Israel, that we have just essentially, when I say we, the United States and its people, have just blindly endorsed and funded and weaponized. Folks, this is an example of what I mean, right? Now, we going forward cannot sit back and just be all right with things happening in our name and with us funding things that we don't agree with, that are horrible things, that are things that cost innocent people their lives. We have to change that. We have to stop funding military efforts and wars around the world, stop supplying weapons and other forms of aid to war efforts, right? And military conflicts around the world. And we certainly have to stop having the agencies of our government sending agents and operatives into other countries and operating in ways and doing things that we don't agree with, right? And it's gotten to the point where it, it doesn't matter in the eyes of those who implement these things. It doesn't matter to them that the American people pay for these things, right? There is no disclosure or transparency that we're due. And it doesn't matter if we like it or not, if we agree with it morally or not. They do what they want to do to maintain the power for those who they really represent, the globalists and the socially economic elite of the world. Folks, it's time to put an eye on these things. It's time to speak up. It's time to organize. It's time to demand and bring about change. For in these matters, change is indeed long overdue, right? It's time. It's time for change. That's what paradigm shift is all about, right? Okay. It's time for us to stop wasting trillions of dollars on ways to kill people when that money can go to saving lives. Think about that. No matter what terminology you use or how you politicize it, war, military efforts, it's all about killing people. And the trillions of dollars that are spent in these efforts could be going to saving lives, could be going to housing people, could be going to feeding people who are hungry. What do we want? Which do we prefer? It's time for change, folks. It's time for change. It's time for a new world paradigm where we don't allocate our resources in such a way, where we don't value our ability to kill, when we have the same choice to use our wherewithal and resources to save lives, to foster a good quality of life for everyone. It's time to grow up, huh? Into a much more spiritually mature way that the world will work. We can do that. It's time to do that now. All right, folks. As we change together, I thank you. And I thank you for helping me to build the worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq, I'm out.